It had been 11 days since Jungkook last saw Taehyung. Not that he was counting. Not that his heart didn't ache with every number he added. But he was learning to breathe through the silence. Learning to stop checking his phone at midnight. Learning to walk past the business department building without slowing down. Minji had noticed the change. Everyone had. Jungkook had always been quiet, but now his silence was different. Not calm. Not peaceful. Just empty. Still, he forced a smile when Minji picked him up for their photography club meeting. "You look good today," Minji said. "Different." Jungkook raised a brow. "Different how?" "Like someone who's about to make a decision." Jungkook blinked at that, caught off guard. Maybe he was. Because he couldn't live in the maybe anymore. Not when Taehyung was treating him like a shadow, like a sin he had to bury. The art hall was buzzing with people. Faculty, students, press. It was the annual exhibit where selected students displayed their pieces to the public. Jungkook's name had been printed under one of the spotlighted works. It was a sketch. A back view of two men standing side by side, one leaning into the other, forehead resting on his shoulder, their hands clasped behind them secretly. The caption below read, "I love you more when no one's looking." The crowd loved it. But Jungkook hated how real it still was. He slipped away from the crowd, needing air, needing space. The gallery doors creaked as he pushed them open and stepped into the night. And then, a familiar voice. "Why did you draw that?" Jungkook froze. He turned slowly, and there he was. Taehyung. In a black suit, no tie, hair messier than usual, eyes dark and burning. He looked wrecked. Raw. "Why are you here?" Jungkook asked, voice low. "Because I'm done pretending," Taehyung said. "Done hiding. Done letting you walk away while I stay quiet." Jungkook stared at him, heart racing. "Don't say that if you don't mean it." "I do." Taehyung stepped closer, his breath quickening. "My father disowned me this morning." Jungkook's mouth fell open. "What?" Taehyung nodded. "I told him I wasn't going to marry the girl he chose. Told him I wasn't going to inherit the company if it meant living a lie." "You gave that up for me?" "No," Taehyung said. "I gave it up for myself. But I came here for you." Jungkook's chest felt like it was cracking open. "You're not just someone I want at midnight," Taehyung said, voice trembling. "You're someone I want at 7 a.m., in front of everyone. Someone I want to hold hands with in daylight. Someone I want to argue with, and cook with, and wake up next to for the rest of my life." Tears welled in Jungkook's eyes. "But, no buts," Taehyung said, moving even closer now. "You don't have to say anything tonight. I just wanted you to know. I choose you." Loudly. Publicly. Without fear. Without shame. Jungkook looked up at him, searching his face for hesitation. There was none. Just longing. Love. Regret. And something solid. Real. Then, without a word, Jungkook reached out and linked their fingers. Taehyung let out a shaky breath and pulled him into a kiss. It wasn't rushed or possessive. It was soft and open. And this time, people saw. But Taehyung didn't let go. The change in everything. Because this time, they were no longer hiding in shadows or hallways or behind closed doors. This time, people saw. Phones were out. Photos were taken. By morning, everyone knew. And the world reacted exactly how Taehyung's father warned it would. Taehyung stood in front of the university trustees, arms folded, jaw tense. You embarrassed your family, one of them said sharply. Your engagement to the daughter of the Jung Corporation was a major alliance. What exactly were you thinking? I was thinking, Taehyung said calmly, that I'd rather live honestly than sell myself for convenience. One of the older board members sneered. You think this is about love? This is about legacy, Kim Taehyung. My legacy isn't for sale, he replied. Not anymore. A silent pause. Then came the words he expected, but still stung. You're suspended from student leadership indefinitely. And your father has requested you be pulled from the university board list. Taehyung just nodded once. He didn't beg. He didn't flinch. Because some things are worth losing. He saw the headlines before he even got out of bed. Kim Taehyung publicly kisses male student at art exhibit. Heir of Kim conglomerate sparks controversy with public scandal. His hands trembled holding the phone. He wasn't used to this. To being seen. To being named. And especially not like this, like he was someone's scandal. A knock on his door broke his thoughts. He opened it, and there was Taehyung. Hair messy, coat unbuttoned, eyes tired but glowing with something new. Peace. Hi, Jungkook whispered. I got suspended, Taehyung said like it was a casual fact. What from everything? Dad pulled my board seat too. Jungkook's mouth opened, but no words came out. And I'm still here, Taehyung said gently, taking his hand. Still breathing. Still standing. Still choosing you. Jungkook blinked back tears. I told you, Taehyung said softly, if I lose everything, family, money, status, it's fine. As long as I don't lose you. Jungkook threw his arms around him then, tight, desperate, trembling. Because for the first time, it wasn't midnight. It was morning. And Taehyung was still there. They sat together on the couch, warm drinks in hand, soft music playing. Jungkook curled up beside him, head resting on his shoulder. Are you scared? He asked quietly. Taehyung paused, then nodded. Yeah. But not to what people say. I'm only scared of messing this up. Of hurting you again. Jungkook turned to look at him. You're not perfect. But you're trying. That's all I ever needed. Taehyung leaned down and kissed him, soft and slow. Then whispered against his lips, I'm not hiding anymore. You're mine. And I want the whole world to know, a year passed. One full circle around the sun since that night in the gallery when Taehyung kissed Jungkook without fear. Since the world saw them, not as a scandal, not as a secret, but as a choice. It hadn't been easy. The weeks that followed were brutal. Taehyung lost his board seat, was cut off from family funding, and faced relentless press harassment. Jungkook received threatening messages, was whispered about in hallways, and even had professors question his intentions, but through it all, they chose each other. Again. And again. And again. They moved in together after 6 months. In a small, sunlit apartment far from the campus and its chaos. There were late nights filled with ramen and quiet cuddles. Mornings where Jungkook would wake up tangled in Taehyung's limbs, kissed into consciousness. And slow Sundays spent doing nothing, because being in each other's arms was enough. Graduation day Taehyung stood in his cap and gown, proud, tall, and glowing. His parents hadn't come. But he didn't look for them. Because his eyes found only one person in the crowd. Jungkook. Wearing an oversized white shirt, camera around his neck, bouquet in hand, and the softest smile Taehyung had ever seen. Taehyung walked straight to him after the ceremony, not stopping for anyone else. When he reached Jungkook, he dropped his cap, pulled him close, and kissed him in front of everyone, again. This time, no one gasped. No phones came out. Just soft applause from a few classmates who had learned what it meant to grow, to understand, to accept. The city lights blinked below. Stars above. Taehyung lay on his back, arm tucked under Jungkook, who rested on his chest. I got a job offer, Taehyung said softly. Jungkook tilted his head up. From who? Not my father, Taehyung chuckled. An art startup. Wants me to help design their gallery space and eventually co-lead exhibitions. Small, but honest work, Jungkook smiled. Sounds like something you'd actually be happy doing. Yeah, Taehyung said, looking down at him. Because I want a life that's mine. And you're a part of that. Jungkook sat up a little, just enough to meet his gaze. You know, he said quietly, I used to wonder if you'd ever choose me when the lights were on. Taehyung reached up, cupping his cheek. I chose you when it cost me everything, he said. And I'd do it again. Every single time. Tears glistened in Jungkook's eyes. Good, he whispered, leaning in. Because I'm yours? Every hour. Every day. Midnight or not, their lips met, softly, sweetly, like a promise renewed. This time, they didn't have to hide. This time, the world didn't matter. Because love had survived the dark. And now, it was finally living in the light.